guys, if you have a period and you're interested in less chemicals, saving money, you just want to be less wasteful, or you're just curious based on the title of this video, then this is for you. I'm going to be talking about zero waste menstrual products. Last week I got like my umpteenth comment about what I use, and I've actually been using some of these for years, and I keep forgetting to do a video. So when I did have a video this week and I got that last comment, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it this week, and finally I will have it up for you guys. So I have been using menstrual cups for 3 years now, cloth pads for 4 years now. So maybe this is actually kind of good I waited this long because I have more expertise in this particular area. And then cloth panty liners, you could call it, or light days. I don't have those with me right now because I only own 5 of those actually. Those are the newest addition to my zero waste menstrual products. And I'm using the last clean one right now, but we'll talk about those as well. So we'll start with cloth pads. I own about 10 of them, I think. I got these when I was pregnant with my oldest Revelin to use specifically for postpartum bleeding, but I have used them for periods as well. I mostly use my menstrual cup when I am on my period, but sometimes at night or like postpartum bleeding where you can't put something up there, or if I'm just lazy and I don't want to put my cup in, which honestly, even though it's the easiest option, sometimes I'm just too lazy to do that, and so I'll just throw one of these on if I feel like it. But I do love this company. As you can see, I've had them for like 4 years and they're still in really good shape. I was pregnant for a good chunk of that with 2 other kids as well, but they have gotten a lot of use and they have held up really well. So as long as you rinse them out right away when you're done using them and then actually clean them all at the end of your cycle, they won't stain. But even if you forget and it's a little bit longer, the stain that is there is like super minor. You could like use some heavier stuff on these to clean it. So as you can see, this doesn't have like an actual waterproof lining on it, but they will not leak. I have worn them, like I said, during postpartum bleeding at all different times in like my regular menstrual cycle, and it's never been a problem. It's not until you actually like fill it completely full of water when you're rinsing it out that you will see some of that come through when you're like squeezing the water out. Yes, you will have to get comfortable with blood in your period if you're going to be interested in this kind of thing. It was gross at first for me, but then I'm kind of like, it's just part of my body, it's fine. Especially after giving birth to 3 kids now, I just don't care anymore. So I will just get in there and scrub it with my hands and rinse it out and then just wash my hands really well after. What I really like honestly about all of this is that I am in tune with my cycle and my body. I know it so much better. I know when my period's coming based on the positioning of my cervix, which we'll talk about that with the menstrual cycle. You get to know your body a lot better, and it's not a bad thing. But I will say that this is super helpful if you're using cloth pads. It's just a little wet bag. What I'll do is just fold it like this. It doesn't go through, like I said, so you won't see anything, and they'll sit on the edge of my counter until I take them to the wash to clean them. But if you share a bathroom with somebody who would care about that, or say you're out of the house and you're changing into another cloth pad, having a wet bag in your purse or next to the toilet or wherever to bring with you, you just throw them in there, and then you throw this in with that when you wash your cloth diapers. Just clean it all together. Just make sure that you don't put this part in the dryer. Okay, next up is menstrual cups. So I have been using these since I gave birth to my second born, Arianna, so 3 years about now. I have 2 brands. I have the Lena cup and the Luna cup. Now I have a super short cervix, and that is, I will link down below, there's a test you can take which will recommend the best menstrual cup for you based on your flow of your period, where your cervix is positioned. You will have to check where your cervix is positioned to find a proper cup. So I have like a super low cervix, so I have to have a super short cup. Most cups I've ever seen, these included, come with a stem. I even have to cut off that stem entirely. And even the Lena cup was slightly too long for me, but it did work. I would just have like a tiny bit of leaking with it. I still used this for the first like 2.5 years, and then I discovered the Luna Shorty. And so if you have a really short cervix, this is the guy for you. Now every cup company has their own like sizing recommendations. Usually you'll hear the most like common is like a size 1 or smaller, whatever, is for somebody that hasn't had a baby yet. And then you'll hear like the next size up is for someone that has had a baby. Or it'll go on flow, like if you have a super light flow, you'll get this one. If you have a super heavy flow, you'll get this one. So the Lena cup specifically actually wanted me to get a different size cup based on, I think it was flow for this one, I can't remember. And it ended up being too big for me. Now the Lena cup, they have a great customer service. All I did was message them, tell them, hey, I followed your recommendations, but this is too big, and they sent me the smaller one for free. So they're really great about that. So you have to find what works for you, and that's what's biggest about going to menstrual cups is patience to find the best brand, to figure out how to put it in. It will take some time to figure out. I personally do the punch down method, which is where you go like this, you literally punch down, and then insert like this. There are several different ways to fold it, to insert it, and you just have to find what you're most comfortable with. So there is like this kind of fold where you literally just go like this. There's the punch down, which is what I use, where you punch down like this. And then there is the 7 fold, which is where you squish it like this and then fold it down like this. There's so many different ways, and you can do a quick Google search and find all the different ways to try. You'll just find whichever one works best for you. Like I said, so basically when you insert it and you let go, it will open up and it will suction around your cervix. So it will catch anything that's going to fall out. And then you would squeeze and it will break the suction, and then you can remove it, dump it in the toilet, and be done, rinse it out. So during the day when I'm using it, I don't like wash it. I'll just rinse it out, reinsert it. Now I always get the question, what about if I'm in public? What am I supposed to do? So you can actually wear these for about 12 hours and this holds more than you think it does. Wearing tampons, using like regular pads, you're bleeding more than you think you are, and those added chemicals in those things can actually make you bleed more than you typically would as well. So it won't be very frequently that you have to change this while you're out. But if by chance you do, or if it shifts weird, sometimes that happens. That's why it's important to keep in mind like your lifestyle, how active you are before you choose which kind of cup you want to use. But I carry this around with me, and this is what I would use in that particular case. If I'm in a public restroom where there's no sink in the stall with me, but it's very hard to insert this if it's not wet. So you just use this, spray it down a little bit, and then you can reinsert, no issue. So during the day, I don't typically clean this. I would just dump it, rinse it out, reinsert it until the end of the day, and then I would give it a good wash. You can boil it if you would like at the end of your period, but in the beginning it was thought that you should have to do that, but you don't really. Remember, the vagina is self-cleaning, so it's not something you really need to worry that much about as long as you're not dropping it in the toilet and putting it back in. That would be a whole other discussion. But otherwise, during the day, just rinse it, reinsert it, you're good. Give it a wash at the end of the day. You just want to make sure that whatever you're using to wash it is oil-free. I just use cast iron soap on mine and they've been fine. Okay, and then the last thing is panty liners or light days, whatever you call it. These are what the ones that I use look like. I got them from an Etsy seller. I'm not like in love with these particular ones, but I'm not mad about them either. They just shift easily. Like, you just have to make sure that they're properly in place when you use the bathroom and, you know, pull your underwear back up, whatever. But they work for what they're supposed to do. When it comes to washing these types of things, I explain these. When it comes to like pads, light days, you want to wash them the same way you would cloth diapers. You know, if you're putting them in the dryer, if you choose to, don't put any dryer sheets or wool dryer balls in there with them. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see all of your wonderful faces on Thursday. Bye.